If you ever ask yourself, why are we here? You're at the right place. My name is Chris Jube, and welcome to Truth Scare. There is a saying that says that, knowledge by life, wisdom and insight by tears. And it is true. So is it perhaps that the reason why we are here is to experience the good and the bad, the spiritual aspect of life, what we call and know as spiritual, that is served to us on a platform that is called our reality. I challenge you to look at the experiences you have, especially the more intense experiences. When you look at it from a point of view that it has been served to you in a planned and controlled environment, that everything else, your life, the place where you currently are or were, and everything around it that has led to that experience merely serves as a platform to deliver that experience. It is especially, and I would say, that because there is a growth seen in the heavy traumatic things, that they are the most valuable. If you have been through an experience like that, you would notice that you go through that experience alone. Yes, it helps to have loved ones, family, kids, spouse, to love you, support you, and encourage you during such time. It helps. But it cannot take the weight of the experience from you. You experience that experience alone. You sit with it, bear it, dig through it, cry it, tear in it. Imagine facing a life-threatening disease. Perhaps you have. Or lost a dear and a loved person, either by death or any other reason. It really is. Now that you remind yourself of it and you think back, or perhaps you are in it now, you say there's a price for it. You paid a price for it. Sometimes a heavy price. It cost you. You see, that must be the reason, because you received an impartation. You understand the depth of it. Nobody can tell you anything about that experience. You can't really explain it in a human way. It overwhelmed you. And the reason why it overwhelms you is because it is spiritual. Yet, you understand it. And that is of value. If you think about it clearly, tremendous value. When you look at life, you need to look at it objectively. You might ask a person, what was your greatest event in this life? What would you say? Especially older people. And they might tell you, at least, I found love, I had kids, I had a family, and I had an okay life. Well, that's very good. The question is, Can you experience the loss of such a love, or the loss of your youth, seeing yourself slowly fading away in the mirror, which, by the way, is the best outcome? There's also murder, God forbid, car accidents, illnesses, many things by which people pass away. The best outcome will be you die of old age. Now let's look at this. Let's look at it critically. You see, all people experience life exactly the same as they have when they were 16. It's still the same person. But they have to watch themselves rolling down to a finale. Nobody escapes death. And while you're on your way there, you see yourself fading away. Perhaps even in sickness, loss of memory. You see those? That is the experience of losing something valuable. And you cannot experience losing it if you were not introduced to it. You need to look at both swings of the whistle. What if you were only shown love to experience what it's like to lose it? And life and fullness, success, triumph, only to experience what it's like. Failure. So we're going to call that chaos, the things that intervenes. It's also been referred to as demons and as darkness and as, which it is, in sense of understanding. We're going to call it chaos. So what is this chaos? What is the reason for it? I don't know if you see, when there's chaos, you can ask any investigator. There's chaos, everybody's running around shouting, whatever the problem might be, and it's just chaos. Now, a good investigator will tell you the first thing to do is follow the money. Why follow the money? What has that got to do with our life experience? Well, you need to look at when you were born and what has changed, what have you gained by the time that you pass away. Now I know the saying where they say that into this world you are born naked and you leave when you die, no, sorry, not naked, well, naked also, but with nothing, and you leave the same way. No. Physically, you can't take your car with. But your spiritual experiences, the wisdom. Have you ever observed a baby? Because that will be the closest to what you can get, what you really are, when you arrive. You know, the first year, a toddler or a baby is the most loving, most beautiful, the most open, the happiest little thing. You can't help loving it. Most beautiful thing. I've never seen an evil baby. So, then that baby gets older, in comes the chaos. Comes in from the back door, carves a person. Why is that? And then eventually that baby dies as we just discussed. Looking at it from a third-person point of view, that is cruel. Children die, get raped, people getting shot, battered, crushed in car accidents, cancer. It could always seem diabolical. I might sound cynical, but we need to look at the whole picture so that the findings would make sense. And you'll find that the finding is surprising. But you have to admit, it is a wretched life. And if you look even closer, you'll find that it is designed that way. We live in a world that has a tendency to chaos. The physical world is a horrible world. Everything has a tendency to chaos. When you wake up in the morning, your hair is not neatly combed and look better than when you got into bed. No, it's a mess. Even if you don't live in your house, lock the doors and go on holiday. When you get back, it's dusty, it's dirty, and you live in it, you have to often clean it. Anything that is made immediately starts dilapidating. Everything has a tendency to chaos. Life is tough. If life was not physical, you would not be able to feel pain. I doubt it, or the way that we feel it. A huge impact on the ideas that how we now view things, or reality, or our experience on Earth, came through quantum physics. We will be going into more detail perhaps in the second video. In this video, we just going to touch on it to sketch you a picture of where we are heading. Now, there is more and more an inclination that we are in fact living in a simulation. For instance, quantum entanglement and also the dual split experiment. That is basically saying that things doesn't exist unless they are observed or measured. They have what we call a wave function, and that wave function collapses. A wave function meaning it could be anything, it's open to any possibility. But once it is observed or measured, I'm not sure yet whether it is the observe of a conscious being or a measurement itself. There are still many grey areas on the exact and to be 100% sure. But I would also say that most religious books, for instance the Christian Bible, is, according to my opinion, describing or saying that we are living in a virtual reality. Because in many instances it's mentioned that we are not of this world, but that we are pilgrims passing through. Also, let's look at the creation of human beings, Genesis 2. When God created Adam, it said he made his body out of mud. He formed his body out of mud. So God took the mud, which in Hebrew is Adama. So from Adama, he formed Adam's body. And then into his nostrils, he blew. He breathed. And it said in the next line that Adam became a living being. Now the interesting facts are that breath that God blew into Adam, the Greek word is pneuma, and the Hebrew word is ruah. Very interesting word, because this word is basically the same word for breath and spirit. So if you read that chapter, again with that in mind, it said that God formed out of the earth where we are, the body. He blew breath or spirit, blew his spirit. As soon as that spirit was locked into this body consciousness, he became a living soul. So the spirit is from somewhere else, from God. That is biblically speaking. And the body is from here. You pilgrim that are here, you don't belong here, you came somewhere else. That is a virtual reality. Let's take a virtual reality game, for instance. You fit the gear, put the helmet on, and you see the images, and you get the feedback from the suit. And your brain is convinced that that is where you are. Why? Because an important factor is the way that the brain forms your reality is through your senses. Eyes, ears, nose, skin are the main senses. And from the information that comes to the brain, from those senses, the brain builds the picture. Now, if it's a virtual reality, it means that you, the spirit, is not from here. You're from somewhere else. And quantum physics could explain that. Because how does the player or the spirit communicate and interface with this brain? Because entanglement says that two or more particles which are entangled, you can take apart. One can be 10 kilometers away, the other one could be 100 million light years away, outside of our galaxy, outside of the universe. And they will be in complete sync instantaneously. The state of the one will immediately affect the state of the other one. That is what quantum computing is about. It's on that basis, on that fact. And you need to keep in mind that what you experience is what you actually experience from outside, if this is a simulation. Meaning, this brain and this construct that you are in limits you to the character that is playing out. Perhaps this is why you have no idea where you go when you die. And you are hard-coded for self-preservation. And it's enforced by the body that feels pain, heat, fear of getting hurt. It's self-preservation. That's whatever you are facing, or that we are facing in this life, is by that way intensified. If you're going through a difficult time and you know that you're somebody else from some other place, would it have any impact on you? Would you learn anything from it? I would say no. The character in the virtual reality is dumbed down to where he is with his helmet. He doesn't know about where he is, really. He doesn't think about it. So, in the next episode, we are going to delve into this idea. And we will be looking at, very interestingly, microtubules and savant syndrome. I can't wait to take you there. Hit like, subscribe, and see when it comes out. I can't wait. It really is the scary truth.